Back at Castle Carter, they celebrate their discovery. Whiskey is one of Carter's few luxuries, and one he always has at home. It is what Carter will later describe as the day of days. But despite the wonderful things he has seen, Carter is still perturbed. If it is the pharaoh Tutankhamun's tomb, then why is the chamber so small? And what if behind the next doorway they do not find the pharaoh lying in his coffin? Carnarvon needs no encouragement. Howard Carter makes one of the boldest decisions of his life. One that contravenes the strict rules governing the dig and runs counter to his years of good practice as an archaeologist. It's a decision that must be kept secret. But 3 months later, on the very day of the official opening, Lady Evelyn will tell the truth about what she and her father did.
It is a thing I would never give away, and it is one which I think ought not to be known. Or at any rate, not at present. Here is the secret. We have both been into the second chamber. Well, after the discovery, we had not been able to resist. We made a small hole in the wall and climbed through.
Carter, Carnarvon, and Lady Evelyn return to the Valley of the Kings. Then, at the base of the wall between the two black sentinels, they make a small opening. Crawling through the hole, Carter finally finds what he has been looking for. A huge golden sarcophagus covered in the name of the mummified pharaoh within. The final resting place of Tutankhamun, undisturbed for 3,245 years. When they squeeze back into the antechamber, they disguise the hole with a basket and some rushes. Several items are taken during this secret visit. An ointment box and a small ritual figure are seen at Carter's house over the next few days. Whether taken as souvenirs or to authenticate the tomb is not known. Both items will later be dutifully catalogued. The rest of the world will have to wait 3 months for its first glimpse of Tutankhamun's sarcophagus, when Carter will perform the authorized opening of the burial chamber. It will take Carter almost a decade to record and remove the contents of the tomb. Lord Carnarvon will not live to see his work through. Within 5 months, he will die of blood poisoning, fueling belief in the curse of Tutankhamun. Removed to Cairo, where they remain to this day, the amazing contents of Tutankhamun's tomb finally give immortality to a pharaoh who had long been forgotten. No one would have even known his name had it not been for an amazing breakthrough 100 years earlier. It's 1822. The Galungung volcano erupts, killing 4,000. Brazil has declared independence from Portugal. Mary Ann Mantell has discovered the first dinosaur fossil. And in Paris, France, one man is about to unlock the mystery of Egypt's ancient language. (28) Rue Mazarine, Paris. Jean-Francois Champollion has spent the morning hard at work in his attic study. He arrived in Paris a year and a half ago, miserable and broke. An ardent Republican, he has lost his university post in Grenoble and narrowly escaped trial for treason after supporting an anti-monarchist uprising. Leaving his wife behind, he has fled to Paris, where he has relentlessly pursued his obsession, the successful translation of the language of ancient Egypt. It is not a particularly novel quest. The hieroglyphics that adorn the pyramids and temples of Egypt have mystified the greatest minds of the age. Covered in a language of pictures no one can understand, Egypt's ruins are nothing more than piles of enigmatic stone. Even the most basic information about this ancient world is unknown, kept secret by a language no one can read. A language Jean-Francois Champollion is on the brink of deciphering.
Je tiens l'affaire. Je tiens l'affaire.
Champollion has always believed that the picture writing of ancient Egypt could be read. Now he has made the breakthrough he has spent 2 decades of his life working on. He has not just proved his theory, he has found the key that will unlock the mysteries of ancient Egypt. There is only one person he can share his breakthrough with, his brother, the assistant to the secretary of the Institute of France. Jean-Jacques Champollion is just finishing off his morning's work in preparation for lunch. His office is just round the corner from Rue Mazarine. Champollion covers the 403 meters in just under a minute.
frère.
The man who has just cracked the secret language of the pharaohs appears to be taking his amazing breakthrough to the grave.
Au secours! Au secours!
The object that inspired Champollion to start his quest was made 2 millennia before he was even born. The Rosetta Stone. A monumental tablet carved in the Egyptian city of Memphis 196 years BC. The text on the stone was carved in 3 scripts. The top section is in hieroglyphics, the language of pictures and symbols found on the ruins of ancient Egypt. The middle section was carved in hieratic, a joined-up written language from the same period. While the lower section of the tablet was written in Greek, the language of Egypt's rulers 196 BC. Within a few hundred years of its creation, knowledge of the 2 Egyptian languages and the civilization that used them will have vanished. Currently unconscious on the floor of his brother's office, Jean-Francois Champollion was just 8 years old when the Rosetta Stone dramatically came to light. In 1798, a group of French soldiers unearthed a mysterious stone monolith near the Egyptian town of Rosetta. Napoleon Bonaparte's invasion of Egypt is in full swing. With his army come 151 scholars and scientists. Their mission, to claim the cradle of civilization for France. The black basalt tablet is clearly an object of significance. It is 114 centimeters high, 72 centimeters wide, 27 centimeters thick, and weighs 720 kilos. But it is the writing on it that really interests them. The first 2 sections are indecipherable ancient Egyptian, but the lower section is obviously Greek. Translating it, they learn the stone tablet is an expression of homage to the ruler of Egypt, Ptolemy. But it is the final sentence that excites them. It orders that the decree be written in Greek and both of Egypt's ancient languages. If the 2 other sections are translations of the Greek text, then the stone found in Rosetta offers a prospect as simple as it is spectacular. Using the Greek, it should be possible to decipher the 2 ancient Egyptian texts. The soldiers dispatched the tablet to the French Institute in Cairo. It will soon become apparent that finding the stone was the easy bit. "23 years later, and the man who has just unlocked the language of the Rosetta Stone lies unconscious in his brother's office. Having called for a doctor, Jean-Jacques desperately tries to revive him. He has encouraged and supported his brother throughout his life. When the younger Champollion was just 9 years old, it was Jean-Jacques who arranged for his private tuition in Latin. It was 1799, the same year the Rosetta Stone was due to arrive in Paris from Egypt. Already hailed as the gem of antiquity, academics eagerly awaited the stone in France. It never arrived. In Egypt, Nelson defeated the French at the Battle of the Nile. With British soldiers at the gates of Cairo, the French petitioned for an armistice that would allow them to keep the Rosetta Stone and other treasures they had acquired. The British commander, Lieutenant General Sir John Healy Hutchison, would have none of it.
Since the fate of arms has decided against you, I demand the execution of the surrender on this point. I demand all these objects, and you may be sure that I shall not let a single part of them leave for France.
The Rosetta Stone arrived in London in 1802. The race to translate it was on. "20 years later, no one knows that Jean-Francois Champollion has finally unlocked the lost language of ancient Egypt. Champollion's fascination with hieroglyphics started when he was just 14. At the age of just 18, he was made professor of ancient history in Grenoble. And the following year, in 1810, he had delivered his first paper on the stone.
The inscription on the Rosetta Stone presents the Greek name of Ptolemy. It could not be expressed in the hieroglyphic part of this monument if these hieroglyphs did not have the power to produce sounds.
Not just a written, but a spoken language, Champollion believed that hieroglyphs could create sounds. It was a radical proposition. Today, and Champollion has successfully read a hieroglyph. Quite how remains trapped in his unconscious mind. From reading the Greek section of the stone, it was assumed that the lozenge-like cartouche contained the name of Ptolemy. Champollion